out there. I am back. That's right. I am your host, Jessica Koch, and this is Profound Professionals. It is the interview series that you have been lovingly commenting and following and sharing. And we're so grateful for 9 years now. Can you believe it? And we, with love, bring you all those global industry experts that can improve your personal life or grow your business from all over the world, over 1,000 of them now. And we are not going to stop. No, we're not. Here we go. Another one today. We have Dr. Emily, and she is the founder and director of EBL Coaching. She specializes in a tutoring program that offers individualized one-on-one home, virtual, and on-site instruction using research-based multisensory techniques. I love multisensory. We all learn in different ways: seeing, smelling, touching, tasting, doing, and acting, game playing, music, singing. All of these things help our brain absorb all the brilliance that we need to learn on the regular. She is also an author, so we'll be talking about her books later on in the show. She's the author of Strategies for Steady Success. So welcome, Emily.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, we just love doing this. I think my community, which I feel is partly my family, love coming and sharing and being and participating in with our shows. And the guests have just been so amazing and inspiring to me, which is why we just keep on live sharing and cutting shows. So here we are today. Now, tell us, how did this become your focus? So, tutoring programs and specializing in this multisensory techniques kind of thing. How does one wake up one day and decide this is my lifelong passion and here's what I'm going to do?
Great question. I had somewhat of a circuitous path to get here. I actually grew up in the field of special education. My mother was the founder of a school for students with learning disabilities down in South Florida, where
Mm.
I grew up. So I really spent so much of my childhood working at her school, being trained in different methods, observing kids. But of course, after college, I went to Brown University as an undergraduate. I thought I wanted to carve my own path and
Mm.
not live
Mhm.
under my mother's shadow. So I actually did finance of all things for 2 years. I did
Mm.
investment banking and private wealth management. Great experience. I learned a lot from it, but I pretty quickly realized that finance wasn't my calling. And I really
Mhm.
remembered how gratifying, how rewarding it was to work with children and to see them really succeed and thrive with the right methods.
Mhm.
So I ended up going back. I got my master's degree in special education and then my doctorate degree in general education. And I started out personally tutoring students myself who had special education needs. And then very slowly and organically, I started to bring on other experts, other tutors on board to work
Mm.
kind of underneath me to a point that I now, about 20 years later, oversee the instruction. We have two
Mhm.
large learning centers. And then, as you mentioned, we also do tutoring internationally on a virtual standpoint and at students' homes.
I love that. We have 7 children and 8 grandchildren. And we have tried and done just about every kind of education under the sun, everything from homeschool to public school to private school to military school. And our youngest daughter of the 7 is 13, and she's currently at a Montessori school. And I have to tell you, I wish I had known about Montessori for all of my other children. Best decision ever. Really love that kind of learning style and methodology. So, yeah, I think how we learn, it really affects us our entire lives. How we learn to study, how we learn to ingest information. One of the funny conversations I have in the car with my daughter every single day, just about coming home from school, is, so share with me, what did you learn today? And, sometimes I get the, oh, we talked about something about this and something about that, but I don't really remember. And I said, well, if you don't remember it, you didn't learn it,
Mhm.
right? Because remembering is learning.
Yes, yes.
So building it, and she's gotten better at it because I always challenge her. She's like, oh, and she comes ready. Okay, these are the things I remember and I learned today. So, it's fascinating how that will stay with you forever. I usually at this point ask, how do you work and serve with your clients? But it was right in your intro. So you do the one-on-one and the on-site and the online. You want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. Well, we work with kids as young as the preschool age, and we actually go
Mm.
all the way up through the adult level. So it's a wide array of
Oh,
students that we
cool.
work with. Our specialty really is working with students who have specialized learning needs,
Mm,
learning disabilities, ADHD, dyslexia,
mhm,
autism, speech and language challenges, really all types of learning difficulties. We also work with students who don't necessarily have a diagnosis, but might struggle with a skill or a set of skill. And really, our specialty within that is using the right combination of research based multisensory techniques that are most suitable for each child. Since, as you alluded to, every child is different, every child learns in a different way at a different pace. So, if we can give that individualized instruction at the child's pace, it's amazing what kind of impact we can have on the children.
I think that's a wonderful. So how can people find you the best? Well, obviously there'll be things in the description. We'll have a custom article about you, but tell us so they can hear if they're just listening.
Sure. Best place is our website, which is
Mm,
eblcoaching.com. And
mhm.
then we also have a Facebook channel, also under EBL Coaching, Instagram. And the latest one is TikTok, which has been a learning journey for me. But I have some really great videos that educate parents on different topics on our TikTok channel.
All right, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay, give us all a tip. Everyone doesn't necessarily have children in their lives that have challenges learning, but we all want to help our children in multiple ways. So whether they do or whether they don't, what's some tips you can give us that would help us have success?
Well, I'm a big believer that a parent is always their child's best advocate. A
Mhm,
parent should never rely just on a teacher or a school to provide their child's education without being involved. Even
mhm,
if they don't have a learning disability or ADHD, there might be one year where a child is thriving and another year where they really
mhm.
struggle. And it's important that parents always stay on top of that, observe their child, make sure that they're doing as best as they can. And if not, take action, be their advocate, and make sure they're always on that path to success.
Well, and I'd say be their advocate to identify some of the challenges, but you don't always have to be the solution. So, for example, our daughter was for a little while, I mean, just really had this time period where she was stuck with the memorization of the basic multiplications and division and things like that, what you need as a core to progress throughout math. And we work with the school and work with the school, work with the school. And finally, we went outside of the school and ourselves because we were also doing fun and different games, and we were just trying everything, Yahtzee, and trying to do on the spot, calculations, trying to make it fun, all the things. And we finally recruited her godfather to for have her go over there for 1 or 2 afternoons a week, and they worked together, and literally within days the problem was gone. It was very fascinating. We struggled for like months. Suddenly she's working with someone totally new and in a different environment, and the light switch went on and she was able to retain and click, and is soaring mathematically. So
And just to expand on that, I actually find that oftentimes it's better when the solution is not the parent, because
mhm.
oftentimes I hear time and again that it negatively affects their relationship, the parent and the child
Mhm,
butt heads. And so a lot of times it's better to have someone, a third party
mhm,
who's not mom or dad, who can really help with the solution with helping their child thrive.
mhm, like hiring a private tutor like Dr. Emily and their team. And, I also, when we did homeschool, one of the smartest things we did was, we got a curriculum that had other resources, but we also got involved in the community co-ops so that she was around other children and other parents teaching pieces of the subjects that she was exposed to. So it wasn't, again, always us. Because that can be hard. It's just like a family business when you work with your spouse that you adore 24/7, and then you're also home with them. When you're with them 24/7, you need some buffer, you need some break in between, you need some variety of some kind. Not that I'm not saying I believe homeschooling is outstanding and amazing whenever it's possible for families to do, and it's not always, and it's not a judgment whether you send them there or not. I'm just sharing that I found that to be a really wonderful experience for the time period we were able to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that we're helping them realize that staying aware of the challenges your students and being an advocate for your student and your child doesn't mean you have to be all the solution. So I think that that's really, really powerful tip. So one of the things that all of you out there love about our show and has been close to my heart since show number one, we've been doing this. We want to take a moment of pause to spread some awareness about some of the great causes that are out there. So get typing, put in the comments the cause that you care about, because we want to hear. And when someone's kind enough to hit that share button, someone might see that cause and be inspired to give time, treasure, talent, share it with someone they know who needs the services that cause provide. Just building awareness is a super great thing. You could be someone's hero and not even know it just by putting a comment and hitting the share button today. And we're going to ask Dr. Emily to share the cause that's close to her heart.
Sure. Well, I really love International Dyslexia Association. It's something
Mhm.
I've spoken at their conferences before. I love their mission, which is really to help provide resources and education for individuals who have dyslexia. And just a side note, Advocates for Children is also an amazing nonprofit
Mm.
organization that provides free advocacy services to families who have limited means and who
Mhm.
their child really needs some of that extra support. So those are really two that warm my heart.
I love that. And I love that you brought up the dyslexia one because uh, I feel like, and I could be wrong, and I feel like, I think my opinion, so be gentle with me in your comments out there, that we all have at least experienced a level of empathy of some form of dyslexia. I know I have to be very careful myself with numbers, and I've caught myself switching things, and, I don't think that I'm actually officially diagnosed dyslexic, but I definitely have empathy for that because it's a little easier to understand than maybe some other challenges because um, we don't personally have any experience with them. But I'm pretty sure in the course of most people's lives, we won't say everyone, they've switched a number at least once or twice in their lifetime, or switched a letter where oh, I knew that should have been the other way, but just did it anyway. So there's a bit of a feeling of more genuine compassion and empathy because we can relate a little better to it. But imagining if that was the daily struggle in trying to read and understand and tracking one number off is everything in our world now, and one letter off with websites and email addresses, and you put a phone number, you put any of that in incorrectly, it can make your day truly a challenge. So I love that there's an organization supporting and working with people with coping mechanisms and strategies, so that they can have the joy and success that everyone deserves in life. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. All right. How about a book? You know what to do. Keep typing. Your fingers are not done yet. We want to hear from you. Put in there. If you're an author, type it in. We'll push it out for you. If you have a book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business, put it in. Someone else just might need to read that book today, and have them be inspired or transform. Books can sometimes really profoundly impact our lives, our businesses, our success, our moods, our attitude, our inspiration, and really get us going to live the greatness and the passions that I feel like we're all designed to live in some way or another. So give us a book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business.
Be happy to. I love the book called Overcoming Dyslexia by Dr. Sally Shaywitz back on the
You're very close to this
Well,
challenge.
it's such a wonderful book, and for any
Mm.
parent whose child has struggled with reading or may have dyslexia or language-based learning disability, it's such an insightful book. It really emphasizes the importance of early identification and early treatment, but it's a fantastic book for anyone who's interested in that topic.
I love that. I love that. Now, we're not going to stop there. You're an author. I know you did the strategy is for study success. Tell us a little bit about that and any other books you've written or have on the back burner that are maybe cooking and coming out to us soon, or programs. So talk to us about your books.
Sure. Well, I've written a few series of workbooks. So the first one is called Strategies for Study Success. It's research based and it teaches students specific strategies for reading comprehension, writing, test taking, note taking, and summarizing skills, which of course are skills that can affect all aspects of school. And that's
Mm.
been a wonderful series. I've also written the Flags and Stars Orton Gillingham student workbook series. The Orton Gillingham method is a specific research based multisensory technique for helping kids build their reading and spelling skills. And then the
Mm.
third series is our multisensory math program, which uses that real multisensory approach with lots of manipulatives to help kids build those foundational math skills and addition, subtraction, double digit addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, fraction. So that's sort of an overview. They're all multisensory and they're all research based.
Very, very, very cool. So I've had a lot of fun having you on the show. I think so many people can use what you're doing now. Can I just ask one more question about your books?
Sure.
Are they good for all students of all kinds, or just specifically for ones with specific challenges?
All students of all kinds. I really find that almost every student benefits from that multisensory approach.
Mhm, I think
See,
so too.
feel, and touch. So they really benefit all students.
That's why we love Montessori so much. So,
Sure.
what age groups are you targeting with these books also?
The books start as young as really the preschool level. Our math series,
Cool.
for instance, starts with numbers. What is a number? How do I write a number? Same
Mhm.
thing with the Orton Gillingham series. It starts with letters and sounds. So as young as a preschool level.
And how high are we going from there?
High is grade 12. The books progress
Oh,
and
good.
students can start where they're at and then move upwards from there.
I love that. That is super good to know. Okay. Well, this has been fun. I hope you've had as much fun as I have.
I've had an amazing time. Thank you so much for having me, and I've really enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah, this has been a good one. So, if you know people with children from preschool to graduating high school, then you should share this with them because they will just get so much benefit. And if you're out there thinking, well, wait, I'm an author of books, I can help someone's personal life or I can grow someone's business, maybe I should be on that show. I'd say, come on, reach out to our team. They'll send you the details of just how to get registered and signed up so that we can also be featuring you. Now, before we say goodbye today, we are going to ask our beautiful and brilliant Dr. Emily to give us a final thought, some information or inspiration as we close our show today.
Well, I believe that every child has gifts and we all have strengths and weaknesses. And I'm a big believer in positive reinforcement. If your child is struggling, that's okay. We all struggle with some skill or set of skills. We also all have
Mhm.
strengths. So, really taking that positive approach, empowering your child, and know that they all have unique gifts.
I agree with that too. Thank you so much again for being with us here today. We all our children have unique gifts, and so do you out there. We all have some sort of light, passion, purpose for our time on this beautiful planet of ours. So get out there, be kind to yourself. Be kind to each other. And I'm your host, Jessica Koch. And until the next Profound Professionals, we are just so happy you are here. And we'll see you at the next one. Bye, everybody.